Hello and welcome to another episode of WVU Extension Today. I'm your host, Zach Harrell. We're going to begin today's episode by meeting Allison Dempsey. Allison is now the Senior Project Manager at Solar Holler, West Virginia's largest solar panel installation company. But she hasn't always had that job. Allison was able to shift careers through the West Virginia Women Work Training Program. The West Virginia Women Work Training Program supports and advocates for education, employment, and economic equity for all West Virginia women. Let's learn a little bit more about this fantastic program and Allison's story.
Just seize the moment and just do it. So originally I was a department manager for Petco, working retail. I was there for about 8 years, and I came across the West Virginia Women Work program on Facebook. I had seen it several times, and I just randomly one day decided, why not? I need a change, and I applied that same evening. I actually am a college dropout. I dropped out about 6 weeks after starting college out of high school. And in that time, I did get married and have a child, and I was able to apply for this program after all of those life changes and really make a huge difference in my life by being exposed to different opportunities in areas of expertise that would allow for me to have a more significant income to provide for my family.
The partnership with Women Work has been ongoing for years now, and it's been a really great working relationship as we've been able to work with the different groups in the different parts of the state. I provide the OSHA 10-hour construction safety program. The OSHA 10-hour program is a nationally recognized program that helps contractors, helps workers get onto job sites, and shows that they've had some basic level of training and that they are safe to be out there working. My gain would be in friendship, that I have worked with a lot of these women over the years, and I have run into them out in the workplace. I've run into them at construction expos and things like that. They come up and they talk to me and they tell me what they're doing, where they've been, jobs that they've gotten and things like that. So we've really developed a friendship with a lot of them. They all have my phone number and email. I hear back from them once in a while, and they send me questions about their job sites and things like that. So we are developing this safety culture with them, and they are taking it to their workplaces around the state and country.
When I joined the program, I did not know where it would take me. I did not have my eyes set on working in solar, and through my experience with the class, I was able to narrow down an idea of what I wanted to pursue. I applied for a job shadowing with Solar Holler to see what it was about. And after the first job shadow that I did with a panel installation crew, I applied that same evening for a position as an installer on one of those panel installation crews with Solar Holler. During the interview, I was actually offered the chance to interview for a project management position because of my previous management experience in retail, paired with the trade experience that I gained from the West Virginia Women Work program. And a couple weeks later, I was presented an offer and began work with Solar Holler as a project manager. I made this decision to do the West Virginia Women Work program on a whim. I was literally sitting in a hammock at a cookout with no real desire to change anything about my life other than I knew I needed a change, and I applied for it. And here I am just a couple of years later as the Senior Project Manager for the largest solar installation company of West Virginia. And that would have never been possible if I hadn't just stepped outside of my comfort zone. And the program itself gave me so much confidence, not only in what I could do, but just in myself as a person. And it gave me so much opportunity to be a better mother and to be able to afford to take my son places and to be able to work from home, for instance, in my particular situation, and provide for him not only financially, but emotionally. And I have had such a great experience growing after taking that chance. So all it takes is that first step.
Now that the weather's getting warmer, if you're anything like me, you're probably planning a weekend getaway to the Monongahela National Forest. Well, you might have noticed that some of the gateway communities to the Mon National Forest have been going through some changes in recent years. We caught up with some folks to tell us about the Mon Forest Towns Partnership and how that's affecting the communities surrounding this state treasure.
Maybe we appreciate it or interact with the natural world or the cultural world in different ways, but we all share a love for what this area of West Virginia offers.
In 2017, the USDA developed a Recreation Economy Resource Guide, and that was a real catalyst for this project. It helped to engage the USDA Forest Service, USDA Rural Development, and the Extension Service, and encourage us to focus on recreation economies and to partner together to support the gateway communities to the National Forest. We started those conversations first in Tucker County, and then that branched out to the 8 counties that are contained within the National Forest. They each independently have their own goals and their own priorities. Our goal and our hope is that working together across a region at a larger scale like this, we can leverage more resources and we can find ways that multiple towns can benefit together.
Chemistry is a difficult thing. What we were able to do is get the Grant County Commission, the Mayor and City Council, the Economic Development Authority, Convention and Visitor Bureau, and a cross-section of community members all working together.
We've worked separately for so long, and some of that I think goes back to our settlement and the pioneer period, if you will, but we have to be working together in these regions and working together collaboratively to develop our economies and develop our people.
Getting everyone into the room and discussing their desires and their needs, and it really kind of creates some kind of unity. We can share resources, kind of share a vision for the region.
We should focus on becoming the Colorado of the East Coast. We're 3 hours from Pittsburgh, Washington, D.C., Richmond. We are centrally focused, and when people think outdoor recreation, tourism, got to get out of the city, want to get back to the beauty of being outdoors, this county is the center of it.
We don't want to just be like a pass-through town. We want to be something that they can add on with all of their vacation spots. So if you're passionate about like the National Forest in West Virginia, what you can do is you can make a pit stop at each of the Mon Forest towns. You can see what they have to offer. Each one has their own uniqueness.
It's helped to shed a light on West Virginia and this area in particular, but now we need to capitalize on that and really kind of round out the experience. More activities, more amenities, just more of a diversity of offerings. There's a ride center that was established in the snowshoe area and the surrounding landscape. We're seeing other towns like Elkins and Petersburg and Franklin working on trail development projects. Marlington's developed a new bike shop. We've seen some new restaurants. Now we're trying to bring them together in ways that they can support each other, and then we can focus on supporting them and identifying where are the resources, where is the funding. That's a challenge because 12 independent towns and a 1 million acre landscape, but you know, every day we're making progress, and the key piece is that everybody works really well together, and people are patient and understanding, and you know, so far it's been just a great group of people that have worked really well together.
From the Mon National Forest, let's now head to the Greenbrier River and the beautifully quaint little town of Alderson, West Virginia. That's where Elizabeth Reynolds, a health educator with the WVU Extension Family Nutrition Program, based a recent Mountains of Hope grant. It included a walking program for residents, a few improvements to the town to make it a little more walkable, and health screening for residents who might not have access to it otherwise. Let's check it out.
When I decided to apply for the Mountains of Hope grant, I decided to concentrate on physical activity as a means of a way that people could prevent having to deal with cancer. We started out with in the neighborhood of 25 to 30 participants. Each participant would self-direct themselves through the Walk with Ease participant book. We also would meet once a week here at the bridges at the clock to have a group walk.
I was in such pain in February and March that I could barely get a mile at a time. Well, I don't know if I had arthritis. Some people say I may have side effects from COVID also, but I was in pain. Well, I would see people in the program and say, "How far have you walked today?" And they would ask me as I saw them too, and it was just an encouragement to run into people as we were out walking. I knew that if other people could do it, I could too.
The walking challenge last spring was a 21-day walking challenge. They had to walk a mile a day, and when they walked a mile a day, they received a sticker, and on that sticker chart, after they were finished, then they received a cooling towel from West Virginia University.
We had so many patients that qualified and were interested in the mobile lung cancer screening that we had to add a second day. We had a record number for WVU's mobile unit, so we were able to screen over 50 patients for lung cancer in the area. Elizabeth was there with us that day, and since it was we wanted to make a community event out of it, she invited the students from Alderson Elementary School. They took a field trip that day and walked over from the elementary school, and we had a 15-foot inflatable lung in the parking lot. And we educated the kids about the dangers of smoking, vaping, and it was a great day. We had several concerning results come back, which those patients we've been able to refer for additional services and care.
And even now, you see people out, and this is, I think, 30 weeks maybe since we started, and you still see people and say, "Well, how far are you walking now?" I have a whole lot more energy, and I have not been in the pain I was back in February and March at all.
Every Wednesday in the months of September, October, November, weather permitting, they meet at the Methodist Church that's across from the Exxon station, and then they all walk to school with Leo the Lion and some adult volunteers.
The recommendation is to repeat low-dose screening in another year, and we're working with WVU to set up another day next year, around June, July.
It's a safe place to walk. There's sidewalks the whole way. Now we have benches if they need to sit down. I couldn't have been able to offer what I did for the town of Alderson had I not been able to utilize those grant funds.
Do you guys remember card catalogs? Because one of my favorite memories as a kid is going to the library, pulling out those drawers, and flipping through the cards to find the book that I wanted. Unfortunately, they've gone away in favor of more computerized systems in recent years. But I recently visited the Bridgeport Public Library, where they've taken an old card catalog and given it new life. Check it out.
So we just opened up our seed library a couple weeks ago. It's actually right here behind me. It's in our old card catalog. The card catalog has been a part of the library's history since the library opened in the 50s. So it's been just sitting in storage, and really ever since I got here, which was almost 2 years ago, I wanted to do a seed library. So my director and I kind of brainstormed the idea, and we accept seed donations. We've also bought seeds for it. The West Virginia Extension Office here in Harrison County was a big help of kind of setting this up. So I met with them and kind of explained what we were thinking, and they do a Grow This West Virginia Garden Challenge every year. So I had put in a request to get seeds, only expecting to get a few, but then they sent me a whole bunch. So now those are available in the seed library, and we still have several packets of each individual seed. So the carrots, the peppers, and the kale are all still available. It's only been open for a couple weeks, and we are on like page 2 or 3 of our seed log, which is phenomenal. So a lot of people are coming in and using it. So with the seed library, you don't need a library card to use it. You can just come in and you can pick out your seeds. When you have picked out your 5 packets, you can come up to the front desk and just write down what you've taken, so that way we can keep inventory. And then we don't require you to bring any seeds back. But if you grow your crops and you are able to save your seeds, and if you wanted to donate back to the library, we would be really happy about that, because it would keep the seed library going year after year. Later in the year, we plan on having a seed saving workshop. So that way, if you don't know how to save your seeds, we'll give you the resources that will show you how to. We are in the works of creating our own community garden right here on the library premises. It's out back. We are waiting to hear back. We've got some volunteers that are going to be coming and helping us build the boxes and mulch the walkways. And then after that, we'll be having weekly gardening classes. So you can come in and get some hands-on experience in our community garden. And people who come to our programs get first dibs on any of the crops that are grown. Because I think that seed libraries and having the knowledge on how to garden is really important, especially because it allows you to grow your own food and you know what's in it. And it's really good, especially if you're in food deserts or anything like that. It's just another solution for you.
Well, if you head down to the Bridgeport Public Library or somewhere else and get some tomato seeds, raise them in your garden. When they're finally ready, this next recipe from Molly Poffenberger will be a great way to use them. Over to you, Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly with West Virginia University Extension Family Nutrition Program, and today we're going to make a garlic tomato bruschetta. This is one of my most favorite recipes. I've already washed my hands and my ingredients for our recipe in the cooking surface, so I'm all ready to get started. The first thing we're going to do is take a 1-pound loaf of French bread and slice it and toast it under the broiler or in the toaster. And I'm going to cut thin pieces. A bread knife works best with a serrated edge, so you don't end up squashing it. You could certainly use a whole grain baguette if you could find that. I've got my loaf cut, and I'm going to put these cut side up on a lined baking sheet. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. It is going to crisp up very quickly. The next thing I'm going to do is add our garlic. The recipe calls for 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. Now, depending on the size of your garlic, runaway garlic, you could have a little teeny tiny clove, or you could have a big huge clove. So you kind of have to just decide how garlicky you want it. I think I'm going to do 2 of these rather large ones. So when you take the garlic off the bulb, it's covered in like a paper. To remove that, you could sit there and pick it all off, but I like to put my chef's knife on top of it and hit it with the palm or the heel of your hand, and that separates the skin right away from your garlic. So easy. So then we've got your clove of garlic, and I'm just going to make slices. And then once I've got my thin slices, I'm gonna kind of turn it around, go the other way, keep the tip of my knife down on my board, and really just move my wrist and kind of do a rocking motion. So that's 2 rather large cloves of garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in my bowl, and I'm gonna check on my bread. It's almost ready, not quite. Needs to be nice and toasted so that it can hold up to everything we're gonna be piling on top of it. So next I've got my fresh basil. And when we cut fresh basil, you want to remove it from the stem and kind of spread out our leaves. Then to cut our fresh basil, you want to stack up your pieces, and then we're going to kind of roll it up. And now I'm going to run my knife through it and make a chiffonade. And I'm just going to very lightly go through my roll. And again, I don't want to push too hard, be too forceful. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to add this to the garlic. And next we've got our tomatoes. We're using a Roma tomato. They aren't as juicy as like a slicing tomato, which is good because we don't want too much liquid. When I cut a tomato, I'm gonna cut the tip off so that it's flat. And now I'm going to make 2 more flat surfaces, just like that. I'm going to now go cut half moon shapes and then stack those up and cut chunks, and then run my knife through, keeping the tip down and my fingers out of the way, and just kind of get a nice dice with that tomato. Okay, I've just diced my 4 medium-sized Roma tomatoes, and I'm gonna add that to my bowl. Now I'm gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We really want to go easy on the salt at first, definitely, because we're also gonna add some Parmesan cheese, which is a very salty cheese. So add a little bit of salt, a couple of cranks of fresh ground black pepper, a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and a 1/4 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. It definitely is cheaper to buy a block of Parmesan cheese and grate it yourself. Then we're gonna mix that all together. And we want to refrigerate this for an hour to let all the flavors come together. So I've removed our bruschetta mixture from the refrigerator, and it smells so good. Our bread is toasted, and I'm going to put them on the plate. Now we toasted these to help hold the bread up to this mixture that we're going to add. After it was refrigerated, it brought out some of the juices. That is gonna get absorbed into this toasty bread and just knock your socks off. And I'm just gonna place, I would say, about a tablespoon on each piece. And now I'm ready to dig into one. I've had people tell me they don't even like tomatoes and love this bruschetta. I hope you check out our website for the full recipe and our YouTube channel for more videos. Thank you for joining me today in the kitchen, and I hope you give tomatoes and this garlic tomato bruschetta recipe a try.
Well, friends, that brings us to the end of another episode and the end of this season of West Virginia Extension Today. We'll be right back here in October, but in the meantime, look for us this summer as we bring you the 4th season of our Energy Express program. We'll have lots of fun for the whole family. Look for that on West Virginia Public Broadcasting and our YouTube channel. Until then, I'm wishing you and yours a very happy spring and summer. We'll see you next time.